Toriel,
What?
it hurts.
Virus? Have you got a,
The great. I.
No, God!
Pappy?
No, God, please, no! No!
Do you want me to?
No!
Yeah.
No!
Guess it.
Today we're talking about Undertale, and by the intro of this, you can tell that it's probably one of my most favorite games from 2015. All jokes aside, I absolutely love this game, and I absolutely love what this game encompasses. I've never played Earthbound or Mother, so I'm not entirely sure of how they relate to them, but I understand that a lot of people say that Undertale captures the feel of Earthbound and Mother, and I should probably play them if I enjoyed Undertale so much. Undertale accomplishes everything it strives to do. The fact that such a small team could create such a beautiful and wonderful narrative-based game is absolutely amazing, especially when we have narrative-based games coming from AAA developers that aren't too good. Toby Fox, the creator of this game, and his team know exactly how to pull at your heartstrings, make you laugh, make you cry, make you happy, make you sad, make you angry. They know exactly how to do that. The writing in this game is absolutely superb. I could not recommend a narrative-based game more. Before we talk about gameplay mechanics and writing, we're going to be talking about the graphics. What the fuck is this guy? I don't even know what I'm looking at. I kid. The pixel art in this game is absolutely stellar. The animations are very fluid. The art direction is pretty good, aside from a few small things that personally didn't sit right with me. The character designs are great too. They convey traits and characteristics of each individual person, and it's just a really nice touch, and the presentation of this game is absolutely phenomenal. It also makes me very happy to say that the music and sound design of this game is absolutely phenomenal as well. I myself write music and I do sound design. I'm currently doing it for an indie game that's coming out probably next year, so watch out for that. The shameless self-plug. But nothing makes me happier than hearing these boisterous and wonderful soundtracks that complement the game in such a way that I haven't seen in a long time. The music knows when to be soft, it knows when to be fun, it knows when to be exciting and hyper, and it knows when to tone it down for those emotional moments, and it knows when to build up and rise and come to an explosion in those peaks of emotional interest. And everything about this game's soundtrack is absolutely wonderful, and people say that Undertale is such an overrated game and that it's not deserving all of the praise it got. You may think that, and that's fine, but the soundtrack deserves all the praise that you could possibly give it. The soundtrack in this game is phenomenal, and I couldn't recommend a game soundtrack any more than Undertale's. It's probably my favorite soundtrack within the past 10 years. Now we can get on to gameplay. The main gameplay draw of Undertale is that you don't have to kill any monster that you come across in a fight in the game. You can if you'd like to, but you'll receive different story branches if you kill or spare monsters in the game. The game does a good job of letting you know that you can do either of these things in the very beginning of the game with your fight with the dummy. Toriel will present a dummy to you, and it's your choice that you can either talk to it and spare it, or you can beat the shit out of it and then become an evil fucking asshole. From then on, you're able to do whatever you'd like in the game. The game doesn't really hold your hand at any point, one way or another. If you're going the more evil route where you're killing things, they don't tell you, hey, you should do this. If you're going the more pacifist route, they don't tell you, hey, you should do this. This game is entirely up to you to figure out how to play it and what you'd like to do, and that's what I absolutely love to see in games. They give you the tools and the options in the beginning of the game and then let you go free in this little world. The writing in this game is great as well. The story is written beautifully and is absolutely heartwarming. The characters are written to feel like actual people with real personalities and traits. The sequence of events that happen in this game are goofy and strange and kind of bewildering, but not in a bad way. It feels like a children's story where everything's mystical and magical, and these people feel like imaginary friends or monsters that you'd find, and it's got aspects that are taken from like Where the Wild Things Are, Disney films, Studio Ghibli films. It's a nice amalgamation and mix of childlike wonder, but also it's got its own tones and well-written things going on, I guess. It's also got its darker points. There are a few points in the game that actually get a little deep and dark, and you're wondering if this magical world is a little more dangerous and shady than you originally anticipated. Now we can talk about specific gameplay mechanics, specifically the battle sequences and the sparing sequences. The battle sequences play out in a bullet hell-esque way where you have to dodge incoming attacks, and then you can choose whether or not to select to spare, to perform an action that will allow you to spare a monster or attack a monster in an RPG-esque battle UI system. Honestly, the only complaint I can have about this game is that the fan base is a little overbearing at times. There's the example at the beginning of that is a little bit of the scary side of the fan base of Undertale. And if you have an opinion against Undertale, people are likely to jump down your throat and shit in your stomach and tell you that you have a wrong opinion. But also a lot of them are very kind, and a lot of them are genuinely good people who produce genuinely good content. There's a few videos that I've seen going around the internet of Undertale related things that are actually very impressive and very cool, and they're such a spectacle to watch. And just because they have the Undertale name slapped onto them, critical fans and people who do not like Undertale usually immediately attack them, and it's sucky because the only thing that I can complain about this game isn't actually in the game. It's the people who interact with the game and the people who have this presence online and who kind of abuse that presence by ruining Undertale for other people. I have a Discord server where I'm the only one that has played Undertale, and I was like, oh, why haven't you guys played Undertale? I don't understand. And their main thing is, well, the fucking community seems to be kind of weird and kind of overbearing and kind of rude if you do not like Undertale or express an immediate want to play it. And that made me kind of sad because I was like, my friends aren't getting to experience this like amazing story and this fun little gem that came out a year ago, and it's all because of people ruining it for them. And they love the music, and from what they've seen, the gameplay is like somewhat decent in their eyes, but they just don't want to play it because they don't want to get sucked into this toxic world of hate and weird stuff. That's also their prerogative. That's their choice not to play the game. But I just wish the people weren't so aggressive or intimidating to drive other people who might have played it away. The only other criticism that I could have for this game is I wish it were a little bit longer. At first, I wish it were longer for the price tag. 3.5 hours for a game isn't really a lot to go off of, but after experiencing the story and what this world had to offer, I'd say it's definitely worth your while. The amount of effort that is packed into this tiny little package is definitely worth $10. The other reason that I wish it were longer is because I wanted more Undertale from Undertale. I wanted to experience this world more. I wanted the game to go on longer so I could get to know these characters more. That's how endearing they were. They were so well written and they were so well created, and they had active traits and real characteristics and personality and emotion, and everything about the way they were written just made this world feel so much more alive. There are so many narrative-driven games that have characters that just fall flat on their face and just have one defining personality trait that doesn't even carry them all the way through. Meanwhile, you have a game like Undertale where in 3 hours you get to know these characters more than anyone in a video game you could have ever known. Like, these characters come to life within the first 10 minutes of you meeting them. Their personality and their traits are shown through their dialogue and their actions, not from what some video game tells you in some chat log or in some audio log or in some fucking bestiary thing. You experience and understand these characters for who they are because you're actively doing things with them and to them that are affecting their emotions, and in turn they are doing things that they might not do normally, or they are doing things that kind of show this reaction and who they are and how they react to certain situations and crises. And it's all structured so beautifully that I can't even imagine leaving this game world. And honestly, when this game ended, I was genuinely upset. I wanted more. I was like, that's it? That's all I get from fucking Sans and Papyrus and Alphys and all that? I didn't know if I should be angry because I had such a good time with this game, but I was just so upset that it was cut short so fast. It felt like such a blur, and I just wanted more. And please don't take this review and say, hey, I'm gonna go watch a Let's Play of this game now, because that'll do the same thing for me. It won't. If you're going to experience this game, please pay up the $10 and sit down and thoroughly enjoy this game by yourself, because it's a game that doesn't speak to two people who are playing it through a YouTube video. It speaks to the person who's behind the computer screen. and it speaks to the person who is playing the game. The actions in the game are a direct result of the player, not the person who is just onlooking and stuff like that. At first, I experienced this. I experienced about the first 30 minutes through a Let's Play, and then I said, you know what, this game seems like pretty good, so I'm gonna pick it up. And I'm so glad I didn't watch the rest of that Let's Play till the end, because it was such a fucking roller coaster of emotions. Just this entire game was a fucking blast, and I want everyone else to experience Undertale the same way I did, because I know I had such a fucking good time with this game.